Yo, what's up? What's happening? Welcome to Artillery Mindset and Yoga with me, 13 Bravo Yogi. And we're gonna shake things up a little bit. Not only is this a yoga practice channel, it is also a mindset strengthening channel as well. And so we're gonna get into some mindset stuff because the mind is where everything starts. Um, the mind is so powerful. We don't give enough credit to our minds. I remember when I saw the movie Limitless, and there was a scene. I can't remember exactly. It was a woman. She was like running away from people, and old dude said, "Hey, yo, stop, pop the Limitless pill, and then just chill for a minute, and then the answers to your problem are gonna come." And what I got from that was you're able to think yourself out of anything. And so during this mindset moment, we're going to talk about anger. Anger is something that I have had to deal with a lot throughout my life. Um, it's been a challenge for me. I have lost a lot because of my anger. Um, whether it was dealing with family, whether it was finances, whether it was my freedom. Yeah, my anger got me in a lot of hot water. And a lot of it has to do with the trauma that I experienced. I was physically abused by my father. I'll keep on, anytime I bring up my father and the abuse, I'm always going to say, hey, I have forgiven myself. I have forgiven him before he passed. So, that's definitely something that I feel like is very important. But needless to say, trauma is still a contributing factor to the things that I have experienced. Also, I dealt with emotional neglect. And growing up, I never really learned how to deal with my anger. A lot of I'll just say boys, because that's an area I can relate to a little bit more. Um, Boys from a very young age were told to shut up, be quiet. Like if we cry, it's like be quiet, man up, all this stuff like that. And we're not really taught how to express our emotions in a healthy manner. And one thing that we really need to learn how to deal with is our anger, because when you deal with anger, then you have impulse control issues. And so you see a lot of men in prison because they didn't think things through. So that kind of go into my first key point about dealing with anger, and that is to stop. Like when you recognize that you are getting angry, you need to stop and ask yourself, why am I angry? I like to think of I remember, yeah, I'm dating myself, but I think it was Family Matters. Yeah, Family Matters with Carl Winslow. He was a police officer, and he was going through this anger management class, and they told him to say this thing out loud, like, how'd it go? Okay, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? And when you do that, you can give yourself to pause, to breathe, and you explore your triggers. If you see me looking down, like I'm looking at some notes, but triggers, the definition of them is like small event. Well, a trigger is a small event that can touch the original wound, making the reaction bigger than the moment. So when you can think of triggers as like the temperature. So if the temperature is hot, the trigger is just gonna drive things out of proportion, and it's things that you haven't dealt with, any wounds that you haven't really addressed. That's why it's important to and you really don't know what wounds, like you may know some wounds you have, but you really don't know the wounds that you really have until they're triggered. So If you feel yourself getting triggered, like, hey, sometimes you might need to say, hey, I'm being triggered, and I need to walk away, or this might not be a good time to talk about whatever is going on. And that's fine. You rather do that than to lose your freedom. You rather do that than to hurt somebody else than to hurt yourself. If they want to call you a coward, if they want to call you, so be it. So be it. If they want to call you a punk, so be it. That's way better than losing your freedom. Freedom is priceless. And then also, kind of, once again, not dealing with those issues and they come up in the triggers, is dealing with unprocessed energy. So any anger can hold grief, fear, or helplessness underneath. Trauma survivors sometimes default to anger because it feels safer than vulnerability. Man, I'm gonna repeat that. Anger can hold fear, grief, or helplessness underneath. Trauma survivors sometimes default to anger because it feels safer than vulnerability. And I feel like a lot of us, especially adults, are just scared little kids. And I'm gonna keep defaulting to men because our anger, it messes up a lot of, and a lot of us men are like scared little boys, and we don't want to admit it. We're not. It's almost like we're not allow for us men to say, hey, we're scared. And women could feel the same way. I want to exclude them as well. They may feel, because it's funny because whenever I hear men or women or trans or non-binary people talk about a lot of issues and not feeling heard, I'm like, yo, I feel like we deal with a lot of the same things. I feel like if we talk a little bit more, be a little bit more vulnerable, we'll see how we're very connected. And then also with anger, there is survival wiring. So trauma can condition your body to stay in fight or flight. Anger is part of fight, a survival response, not a character flaw. Now, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be angry. Now it's all about how you handle the anger. So let me go ahead and give you some processing tools to deal with, some tools that you can deal with in the moment. So pause your body. It says slow down, slow your breath, exhale longer than you inhale. So take an inhale and exhale. Let it out. That's what we do with yoga. The importance of the breath. The shorter the breath, the shorter the life. The longer the breath, the longer the life. This tells your nervous system the threat isn't immediate. I know a lot of times for me, when I can't coming back from war, especially deal with loud noises, with people, with fireworks, with gunshots, I have to, whenever I'm triggered, I have to tell my body, my brain, that I am not in the war zone. And it gives me time to calm down. Then you ground yourself physically. Cold water on your face, if you have access to it, or hands, or stepping outside, or noticing 5 things you see or hear can interrupt the escalation. So you can stop. And if people want to look at you crazy, you're finding your peace. Like, hey, there's a green leaves over there. I'm seeing white walls. There's a tan brown kind of thing behind me. There is the sky is blue. There are white clouds. There's a mountain range off in the distance. There are buildings around me, and that helps you calm down. Movement, release. Trauma anger carries the body charge. Push against a wall, squeeze a pillow, or do a quick burst movements like squats or shaking out your arms. You can literally start doing this. Jumping up, doing jumping jacks, jumping up and down. Man, it's like you could have used this a few days ago, because I had an instance where somebody was triggering me, and I was getting the reason why I was getting triggered is because I felt like I was getting dismissed and I feel like I wasn't being heard. And no matter how, it's like how, no matter how many ways I was trying to tell this person that I wasn't being heard or wasn't being dismissed, they kept saying, "Oh, I'm not dismissing you. I'm not being rude to you. I'm not doing this to you." And it's like, it just escalated my anger. And then by the time your anger is escalated, like nothing is really being heard. Like I know you want to be able to get it out, but like people at that point, they're just, because it's escalating things. So, all right, here are some tools for processing the anger. Name it out loud or on paper. I feel angry because I feel angry because, and I could say in that instance, I was feeling angry because I felt dismissed. I felt like my feelings were not being heard. Writing or speaking reduces the swirl and makes it concrete. Because a lot of times when you're angry, you're just spinning, you're swirling out of control. Separate the past from the present. Ask, am I reacting to this moment, or is it something older that feels similar? Oh, that's real. Oh, that's so real. All right, channel creativity. Music, art, writing, or even yelling in safe space helps move the energy instead of bottling it. I know for me, I think if I'm gonna, like, the times that I know I'm gonna be around people that might trigger me, or if I'm gonna have a discussion with them, I'm gonna have my guitar. I'm gonna have my emotional support guitar, because anytime that I'm getting angry, I could play my guitar, and that calms me down. And I can even express what I'm feeling. Get all loud noises. I can express how I'm feeling while I'm playing guitar. But hey, you are dismissing me. You don't seem to see where I am coming from. There we go. All right, so therapeutic work, trauma-focused therapy. You have somatic experience, EMDR, parts work, IFSAI words can help you unpack your anger where your anger is rooted. I know where my anger be rooted. And I feel like there's a good book, The Body Keeps Score. And I feel like my anger is like in my nervous system, like it's ingrained in my nerve. And through ayahuasca, I'm actually supposed to do ayahuasca next month. Through Bufo, I feel like I'm letting it go over time, but it's still a process. Body practices, regular grounding. You have regular grounding, yoga, qigong, running keeps the nervous system more regulated. Healthy expression, practice communicating anger without aggression. I am angry because I felt disrespected, rather than shutting down or exploding. And if you're saying this stuff like that, and that person is still, you don't feel like that person is hearing you, just say, hey, right now, I don't feel like we're seeing eye to eye. I don't want to take things further. These are things that I'm telling my old version of myself that was getting angry that day. Hey, we don't got to resolve this thing right now. Like, hey, I don't feel like we can come eye to eye. I feel like I'm getting a little bit too angry. I'm going to walk away. Hey, maybe we could talk another day, or hey, when things are different, maybe we could talk. Right now, this ain't it. Because like I said, I'm not trying to lose my freedom, because I have to be very careful, because as a combat veteran, there is Uncle Sam put a kill switch in my brain that just like, I just want to go there. I actually had a buddy that I talk to from time to time, and he literally said, like, look, hey bro, I be thinking about offing people on the regular, and he went through way more war than I did. All right, so next steps is to reframe. Anger isn't the enemy. After trauma, anger is a signal. I'll say that again. Anger isn't the enemy. People want to kind of downplay anger, but anger is an expressive tool. You just got to use the tool a little bit different. It gets things out. After trauma, anger is a signal. Sometimes it means I need safety. Sometimes I need respect. Sometimes I need to grieve. I'm going to repeat that again. Sometimes it means I need safety. Sometimes it needs I need respect. Sometimes it needs I need to grieve. Learning to listen to it without letting it take the wheel is the healing move. Do not let your anger take the wheel, because bam, you let that anger take the wheel and you on a high-speed chase, you crash into a wall, you waking up in prison. Like, it's not cool, man. So we'll go ahead and kind of start closing it out. So in closing, understand the connection with your anger. Use grounding techniques to ground your body, to regulate your nervous system. Figure out some trauma-sensitive coping. Seek out long-term supports. Oh, and that was it. Okay, cool. And just be kind to yourself. Try not to put yourself in areas and stuff like that that's gonna make you angry, that you feel like. But if you feel like you have a good handle on your anger, sometimes, just go ahead and go out there, because you don't want to like just shut yourself off from the world. And I want to get to a point where I'm around the things that have triggered me, and I get around those things and I'm just chill. Like I'm not even feeling like I can have a, like, I want to get to the point where when I am very angry or triggered, I can talk to people, the person that's triggering me, just like this. And so once again, that's been another artillery mindset and yoga conversation. So we'll talk these conversations because I want you all to be able to ask questions in the comments. You can reach out to me. I gotta remember to put the contact information in the description. I need to remember to put Heroic Hearts in the description as well, the psychedelic retreat that I went on that really helped. Because I want this to be a group effort, that we get through a lot of these things together, through mindset talks, conversations, through yoga. I eventually will be doing some alternative sound bowl kind of thing. So yeah, tell a friend to tell a friend, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave your comments, leave your comments, your reviews, Yelp reviews, all that stuff. And y'all be great. Take care of yourselves. And that's it. I'm out.